Ian David Long was born on March 27, 1990, in California. Growing up, he was raised up by his mother and a man he thought was his biological father, who was actually his stepfather, until he was about 2 or 3 years old. His biological father died of cancer while he was still a child. After his mother and stepfather split, he continued to live with his mother. He spent his early school years in Orange County, California, but moved to Europe with his mother during the 3rd and 4th grades due to her job relocation. They moved back to the United States when he started the 5th grade, and he resumed schooling in Orange County, California. Not long after they returned to the U.S., Long's stepfather died. According to his mother, he had a fondness for his stepfather, but Long did not seem to be emotionally impacted by his death. He also chose not to go to the funeral of his stepfather. During his 6th and 7th grade years, Long went to a private school in Orange County. Records from the school show he was suspended on 4 occasions during this time, twice for using inappropriate language, and twice for displaying disobedient behavior. After finishing grades 8 through 10 in Orange County, he transferred to Newbury Park High School in Thousand Oaks, California, for his 11th and 12th grades. Long's mother reported that from a young age, he had a serious demeanor, a temper, and a tendency to want to be in control. She believed his friends would have characterized him as both intense and funny. His mother also mentioned that he frequently pushed his teachers to their limits. One high school teacher came forward with claims that Long had physically assaulted her when he was a student, but she was discouraged from pressing the matter further to avoid potentially harming his future in the Marine Corps. Although Long was not often known to be violent toward others, he did exhibit destructive tendencies. His mother cited instances such as breaking video game controllers when frustrated and punching holes in the drywall of their home after a high school coach switched his position on the baseball team. Reports are mixed, but he graduated from Newbury Park High School in June of 2007 or 2008, joining the United States Marine Corps in August of 2007 or 2008. Long underwent his recruit training at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego. As part of the basic training for the United States Marine Corps, he participated in a rigorous physical fitness program and received classroom instruction on tactics and discipline. Long's training also included both urban and rural warfare skills, featuring stealthy movement, close quarters combat, and the use of smoke grenades for concealment. Military records indicate that Long served in Afghanistan during the Afghanistan War from November 16, 2010 to June 13, 2011, participating in Operation Enduring Freedom. During his military service, he was reprimanded for shoplifting and traffic offenses. He ended his active duty service with an honorable discharge on March 3, 2013. During his time in service, Long achieved the rank of corporal. In 2009, Long married Stavrula Tsavaras, a woman he had met before enlisting in the military. Despite being married, they never lived together as a couple. While Long was stationed in different locations, his wife was in California attending school. They eventually divorced on November 14, 2013, a date that nearly coincided with the date of the shooting 4 years later. Following his honorable discharge, Long attended California State University Northridge from 2013 to 2016, majoring in athletic training. However, he did not graduate. During his time at the university, he suffered a motorcycle accident, which led to a collapsed lung and a cracked helmet. He was diagnosed with adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety and depressed mood, post-traumatic stress disorder, combat and military operational stress reaction, and chronic pain. Veterans Affairs records show that Long never requested medical or mental health treatment from their department, despite claims he made to friends that he had sought assistance. Several of Long's female friends noticed that he appeared to be struggling with depression and PTSD. Some of his closer female friends saw instances of destructive behavior that they believed were influenced by his service in Afghanistan. For instance, Long reportedly ripped a towel rack from the wall after being reminded of dead bodies upon seeing lasagna. His close friends also mentioned that he had nightmares that would startle him awake in the early morning hours. He was also known to have a short temper, often yelling and venting his frustrations. However, despite these displays of destructiveness, his friends who witnessed these actions maintained that he never acted physically violent towards them. A few friends reported that he expressed strong anger and hatred towards civilians, especially college students. He believed that these students were disrespectful to the military, ignorant, and incapable of understanding his Marine Corps experiences and losses. Many of Long's friends lost contact with him sometime in 2016 as he deleted his social media accounts, changed his phone number, and became withdrawn. When questioned by investigators, a friend of Long's revealed that he had discussed mass shootings. Specifically, he had expressed the belief that mass shootings could not be prevented and found it pathetic that people would offer prayers in response to such events. Long had been in contact with the Ventura County Sheriff's Office twice in the past, the first time in 2006 following a traffic collision, and the second time in 2015 related to a bar fight. He faced no charges in either situation. In April of 2018, Long's mother told authorities that she believed he was suffering from severe PTSD and was unwilling to seek assistance. When the sheriff's dispatcher asked if he might be aggressive toward law enforcement, she responded that there was a high probability. At first, Long didn't answer the door when deputies arrived, although he later claimed he didn't know they were there. His mother expressed fear of him, noting that he had damaged the inside of their home earlier that day by punching holes in the walls and destroying a chair. Long eventually agreed to speak with a mental health crisis team, who, after assessing the situation, determined he was not an immediate threat to himself or others, and decided not to detain him at a psychiatric facility. The firearm used by Long in the shooting was a Glock 45 caliber semi-automatic handgun. The investigation revealed that he had bought the handgun legally in August 2016, over 2 years before the borderline shooting incident. Long's financial records showed that he had bought several high-capacity magazines for the handgun in October 2016. He had also purchased smoke grenades, night sights, and tactical weapon-mounted laser in November 2016. An additional purchase of high-capacity magazines was made by Long in December 2016. Around 11:18 p.m. on November 7, 2018, Ian David Long walked into the Borderline Bar and Grill through the main entrance, armed with his Glock 45 handgun with a laser sight attached, close to 190 rounds of ammunition, a knife, and 10 smoke bombs. There were about 260 people inside the bar at the time, as the bar was holding its usual college country night event. After walking through the bar's main entrance, Long immediately shot the cashier close by before turning his weapon on the patrons. He methodically moved through the building, throwing the smoke bombs to mask his movements, and killing victims as he found them. The first call of shots fired at the borderline was received by the Sheriff's Communications Center dispatch at 11:19 p.m. The caller reported hearing 6 to 8 shots, but he did not directly observe anything.
911, that's Richard reporting.
Yeah, I heard some gunshots on Borderline.
Borderline, you heard gunshots?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second while I get the call started, okay? How many gunshots did you hear?
Well, it was like 6 or 8.
We have a lot of callers in. Is this something that you're seeing or just heard?
I just heard. I moved away from the parking lot.
Gotcha. Can I get your name?
Oh, there's still some gunshots, man.
I know. I hear you. What's your name?
Seconds later, another caller called dispatch and provided the first description of the shooter.
Emergency, this is Jessica. What are you reporting?
Hi, I'm at Borderline. There's a shots fired right now.
Okay, did you see who shot the gun?
Yes.
Who?
Looked like a male white with a hat.
Okay, what kind of gun was it?
He shot about 8 times. Looked like a black semi-automatic handgun. He's still shooting.
Okay.
Shooting in progress.
Where is he at Borderline?
He's inside the fucking bar.
I understand that. Do you see? Is he at the bar? Where specifically?
The front.
Okay, what is he wearing?
I'm outside now, so I can't see.
Okay. You said that he had a
But
hat.
he was wearing a hat.
Okay, like a cowboy hat or a
Yeah.
baseball hat?
Baseball hat.
Okay. Do you remember what color shirt he was wearing?
Hey, anyone see what color shirt he was wearing? What color shirt was he wearing? I don't know, unfortunately. I kind of just booked it.
That's okay. Can I get your name?
At this time, Long entered an office near the reception desk at the main entrance, continuing to shoot as people fled. Some people shattered the bar's windows, allowing many to flee, while some others hid in an employee bathroom or the attic. During the shooting, Long answered a phone call made by the mother of a patron who escaped, and he also made several posts on social media expressing his thoughts. Nearby, 2 California Highway Patrol officers conducting a traffic stop were quickly notified of the shooting by escaping individuals. They made it to the bar's parking lot within a minute, and 4 minutes later, they were joined by Sgt Helus from the Ventura County Sheriff's Department. Approximately 6 minutes after the shooting started, the 3 officers made an approach to confront Long. Long was still concealed in the Borderline's front office and was able to watch the officers as they approached on a monitor in the office displaying a live feed from the bar's exterior video cameras. Sgt Helus and Officer Barrett made their entry through the main door, unaware of Long's exact position. Long watched the officers' progress on the monitor and prepared to attack the officers. 23 seconds after they entered, Long stood by the office doorway and opened fire, just 7 to 14 feet away from Sgt Helus. Officer Barrett quickly retreated to the entrance's stairbase and shot back. Sgt Helus began retreating as well, but fell as he was moving toward the door. Helus was shot 5 times by Long and crawled on his hands and knees to an area just outside the front entrance. He continued firing towards Long, and as he attempted to stand, Officer Barrett simultaneously fired a round from his rifle that accidentally struck Helus, going through his heart and fatally wounding him. Long remained in the office, continuing to use his cell phone and placing several items on top of a desk, including 6.26 round handgun magazines, his cell phone, and a smoke grenade. At 11:30 p.m., Long dialed 911 from the office landline, staying on the call for 65 seconds and never speaking a word to the operator. At 11:37, Long lit a firework and threw it outside the office, throwing a second one 30 seconds later. At 11:38, he fired a single shot under his chin, ending his own life in the office. He was discovered deceased by a responding SWAT team that made an entry at 12:13 a.m. During the shooting, Long fired a total of 61 rounds, claiming the lives of 9 men and 3 women. 7 were college students, and 1 other was a recent graduate. The 4 others were Sean Adler, a 48-year-old bouncer, Daniel Manrique, a 33-year-old Marine Corps veteran, Telemachus Orfanos, a 27-year-old Navy veteran who was a survivor of the 2017 Las Vegas shooting, and 54-year-old Sergeant Ron Helus, who was just 1 year away from retirement. They all died from multiple gunshot wounds, and 1 victim was also stabbed. 16 others were injured, with only 1 being injured by gunfire. An investigative report by the Ventura County Sheriff's Office detailed the findings of the investigation into Long's actions and motivation. The evidence suggested that Long had held a strong resentment for civilians and anyone not affiliated with the U.S. military. However, the Ventura sheriff emphasized that it was never proven that his hatred of civilians was the motive. PTSD is thought to be another possible motive, but multiple behavioral scientists and clinical psychologists claim that it was too early to say whether it was a factor in the shooting.